Welcome to another insightful episode of the CENJOWS podcast series. I am Ashika S. Prasad, Associate Fellow at CENJOWS and your host for today's session. Today we have the distinct honor of hosting Lieutenant General V.K. Saxena, PVSM, AVSM, BSM, PhD retired, to speak on the topic dealing with the autonomous threat shaping the way ahead for India. Before we begin our session, I'd like to briefly introduce the speaker. Lieutenant General V.K. Saxena, PVSM, AVSM, BSM, PhD retired, is the former Director General of the Corps of Army Air Defense. A prominent scholar warrior, he currently serves as a distinguished fellow at CENJOWS and has held prestigious academic fellowships across India's premier defense think tanks, including CLOS, VIF, and USI. He has made lasting technical contributions to India's defense technology, notably receiving recognition from the Institution of Electrical and Communication Engineers for his work on the development of the low-level lightweight radar. Additionally, General Saxena is a prolific author of 5 books, a frequent media commentator on strategic issues, and an active advocate for welfare projects for the families of martyrs and disabled veterans. It's an absolute privilege to have you with us today, sir. Welcome to the
Thank you.
podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for a very humbling and kind introduction.
Yes, sir. So, set the stage for the listeners, while the lessons of Operation Sindoor provide a critical foundation, they are merely a glimpse of what the future of the conflict holds. So, during Operation Sindoor, we witnessed autonomous weapons riding the powerful trio, drones, swarm technologies, loitering munitions that played a dominant role. So, as we look ahead, these technologies are not just here to stay, they are poised to dominate the future battlefield. So, with this operational baseline in mind, let's dive straight into the first area of focus. What threats of autonomous weapons are we likely to face from our adversaries in the future avatars of Operation Sindoor?
When we talk of autonomous weapons, we're actually talking about a trio of drones, drone swarms, and loitering munition. I have no hesitation in saying that today autonomous weapons have rewritten the rules of combat warfare today. They have not only turned the tide against Armenia and in favor of Azerbaijan, they have not only given great initial successes to Ukraine during the Russo-Ukraine war in the initial months, they have given the standing power to Iran to face a highly technologically, militarily superior force and still weigh heavy over time. And the revolution which is being caused by autonomous weapons today is no stopping, is nothing short of a revolution. While all this, what I'm talking about, relates to foreign armies, foreign wars, let us look inwards and let us say, what is the threat of autonomous weapons which we face today is something which is close to our heart and close to our national security and integrity. Let me start by saying the conclusion first. Today, our potential adversaries, both China and Pakistan, are strong autonomous weapon powers. When I talk of autonomous weapons of drone and drone swarms, I can classify them in 4 different categories. First of all are very simple Recce machines, which are in short called the ISTAR machines, intelligence, surveillance, target acquisition, and reconnaissance. The others are unmanned vehicles which have combat capabilities in terms of rockets, missiles. They can carry out navigation and reach a point. Third category are dedicated machines meant for precision strikes armed to the teeth. And the fourth category are the swarm drones, which are the thing today. Have you heard of swarm? The Tiddy Dal? It has got its own intelligence. It's got its group think and how it is changing the world. Talking of China, and when I'm talking of Recce or Star machines, hundreds of machines are already are already on our border, checking our deployments, checking our infrastructure, checking on our troop concentration, checking on the progress of infrastructure development, progress of our operations, and so on. But more importantly and more dangerously, China has got unmanned vehicles which can operate in the medium altitude and the high altitude. They are called Male and the Harley drones. The Male relates to up to 30,000 feet in altitude and up to 48 hours in endurance. And Harley drones are more than 30,000 feet of altitude, more than 48 hours of endurance. In the Male category, China has got multiple machines, BZK, GJ, GJ1, GJ2. In the Harley category, it has got EO3, it's got WZ7. These are all I'm giving you just a small glimpse. I had talked about deadly machines which are armed to the teeth and they can strike like hell. A machine in Chinese armor is called Wing Lung 2. Wing 1 was one and its upgraded version. This machine has got a range of 4,000 kilometers, endurance of 20 hours. It has multiple weapons. It has bombs 57, 9, and 10. It has anti-radiation missile, which is BRM-1. It has guided rockets and anti-ship missile, YJ-9E. Also, China has got a lot of drones which can operate with the combat missions in an operation which is called the MUMT, Manned and Unmanned Teaming. Drones like Tiangyang or Gongji or WZ-8. Also, everybody's talking about stealth technologies these days. Stealth has also come to the drones. And Chinese drones like Winglong 2 and CH7 are stealthy machines. All that for the machines which are standing, dedicated machines. Now come to the revolutionary machines, which are swarm drones. You must have heard or must have read in the news latest Chinese Atlas drone swarm. It is a vehicle which can deploy instantly 48 drones, and a pair of two vehicles can deploy 96 AI-driven drones. Also, there is a company, there's a single operator can drive 200 drones in a precise formation for navigation and strike. There's a company called China Electronic Technology Group Corporation or the CETC. It has shown a fixed drone zone of 119 drones. When I'm talking of swarm, it is not only can precisely navigate, it has got capability to take decision, it has got capability to strike and restrike, it has got the capability to survive even if the members of its group are destroyed to a large extent. It has a capability to communicate and still remain in business even if its communication to a large extent is destroyed. So it is a group thinking AI driven phenomena. Also, also, a new phenomenon these days, a kamikaze drone. Everybody's talking about kamikaze drone. China has got recently shown a mothership called the Jiutian. It is a mothership which can deploy more than 100 swarm drones instantly. Then there are other kamikaze drones like Sunflower or Falcon. Then you must have heard in Ukraine war, there's a drone called FPV drone, the one which is not dependent on the GPS. It has got a cable which feeds the information seen by the camera fitted in the drone, and the operator or the first person view, you can direct it to the target. The FPV drones are there in China, Little Falcon, the CH-817, etc. And also a lot of loitering munition. Loitering munition is something like horror. It can go loiter on the battlefield, wait for certain hours. Based on the precise target location given and the target description given, it can strike. So Chinese have a lot of loitering ammunition. To talk about Chinese autonomous weapon threat is a very big chapter. I'm just giving you a glimpse to say and prove my point that China has got a strong autonomous power today. As regards Pakistan, Pakistan is a proxy player. Actually, whatever is in China someday will come into Pakistani hands. That is what is our thing. But China's drone story started sometime in 97, 98. It has got a lot of private players, public sector players like AWC, Air Weapon Complex, Pakistan Aeronautical Complex. It has got a lot of private players, National Engineering and Scientific Corporation, NESCOM, GIDS. They have initially starting in the 90s and 2000 made a lot of recce drones, star drones like Shahpur, Sarfaraz, Jasoos, Mukbar, Vector Vision. I can keep on naming, it doesn't matter. China, Pakistan showed another capability. What capability was that? It imported a lot of drones from other countries. Like it imported ASN series of drones from China. It imported Luna from Germany, Snipe and Striker from US, Falco from Italy, and Seeker from South Africa. All these were star machines, pre-generation machines. The machine which is of relevance started sometime in 2001 when Pakistan started to make its own combat UAV. The project was given to NESCOM, and the project we came out in 2009 to 15 was the development period. 16 was the first trial. This drone is called Burak UAV. This has got a range of 1,000 kilometers, can carry anti-tank missile called the Burg missile. And then not only its own, China's Wingdong 2 is also reportedly in China. Some numbers say 48, 20, 30. I'm not talking about the numbers, but some portion of Wingdong 2 machine, which I talked about, is already there in China. Another very important muscle of Pakistan is the Turkish drones. You must have seen in Op Sindoor 1. Turkish drones were very important. Like TA-1 Ankar drone. This got a range of 250 kilometers and durance of 30 hours, can carry laser guided rocket and the long range munitions and the precision guided munitions, etc. Then the Bayraktar TB2, the famous drone in the Armenia-Azerbaijan war, is also there with Pakistan, range 300 kilometers, endurance 27 hours. It can carry anti-tank guided missiles, it can carry laser guided rockets, it can also carry anti-personnel and anti-armor weapons. So this is Bayraktar TB2. Also, the future version of Bayraktar TB2, which is called the Bayraktar Akinci drone, some portion of that it is also got. Then you must have seen videos of Obsidur 1. There were many SS Grand Songer drones, small quadrupter drone, 3 to 5 kilometer range, and can carry 5.56 and a mortar round. And then the kamikaze drones, which are given from Turkey, Y1, H1, A3 drone, which is there. So what I'm trying to bring out in this technical description, that the intent is driven by capability. Capability wise, both China and Pakistan are autonomous weapon powers, and built on this capability, their intent to cause a tremendous amount of damage in autonomous weapon warfare. There is a new type of warfare which is being driven by drone swarms and loitering munition. They will come heavy. Like you rightly said in your introduction, Sindoor 1 is no reference. It is not even a trailer. Talk about Sindoor 2, Sindoor 2.0, 3.0. It will be massively based on drone swarms, and loitering munition. That is what I wanted to say about a glimpse of our threat from our potential adversaries.
Rightly said, sir. That puts our challenge to a sharp focus. So, this transition from isolated system to a complex, coordinated, autonomous layers fundamentally changes the how the engagement with our adversary unfolds. So, building on that reality, our second question looks at the immediate operational mechanics. So, how is the battle of autonomous weapons likely to unfold in real time?
Very good question, I must say, because a regular warfare, as we all know, is being reshaped by autonomous weapons. You have seen in Russo-Ukraine war, you have seen in US-Iran war, how it will happen. In our scenario, if you crystal gaze, something is already on, war is already on. I will say why they're on in the no war, no peace scenario. The pre-war gray zone conflict is already on or our western, northern, and eastern border, because hundreds of star machine, intelligence, surveillance, target acquisition, and reconnaissance machines are already under play. They are carrying out our orbit. They are figuring out our orbits. They are mapping our deployments and redeployments. They are identifying gaps in our deployment which can be exploited. They are also identifying our mind patterns if in future, whenever it becomes possible for them to identify. Our vehicular movement, which is taking place in the border areas, what does it signify? Our induction and de-induction of units which are taking place regularly is under monitor. Then beside that, they are dropping arms, ammunition, cash, weapons, so on. This war is already on. This is called the pre-war gray zone activity. Now, when the actual war will start in the autonomous weapon domain, how will it happen? It will happen Sindoor 4.0 onwards. Means what? There will be a huge strike of swarm drones which will come to us. Now, you may have read in the news that China and Pakistan are practicing high altitude drone capability more than 10,000 feet. If it is more than 10,000 feet, it will be beyond the reach of our ground based weapon system of guns and short range missiles. They are practicing the swarm drones in that range. That how will it come and how will it overwhelm our defenses? Now, this is the thing which will start the war. And thereafter, what will happen? This will be a continuous onslaught of drones and swarm drones. What will be the aim of this? The aim of I'm only focusing on autonomous warfare. These drones and drone swarm will aim to do two, three things. They are going to overwhelm, they are going to exhaust, and they are going to check out our air defense resources. When aerial weapons come on strike mode or a threat mode, what happens? The air defense radars detect it, air defense interceptors kill it. So when the such large number of drones come, they will try to choke our air defenses in that tactical battle area, now called tactical battle space, which I will explain later. They'll try to identify where our radar locations are there. They will try to exhaust and overwhelm our capability of battle management and control system. And thereafter, once this capability is exhausted, is overwhelmed, will come the mainframe attack, or just on the heels or mixed along with that in a complex permutation and combination will come the mainframe attack. When I talk of mainframe attack, what is it? It is of fourth to sixth generation aircrafts, attack helicopters, anti-radiation missiles, cruise missiles, precision guided munitions, standoff munitions, directed energy weapons. These take on our main assets of our command and control centers, our bridges, our ammunition dumps, our war waging potential, and the warfare will proceed thereafter. Now, the question arises that how many drones will come, or in a typical war scenario, what is the quantum like? Now, to assess the quantum of drone and swarm drone in a typical India tri-service multi-front war is a very difficult proposition. However, some guesses can be made. Now, in the open and my all information which I'm talking in this podcast is only open source. I have no access to any official data information. Neither I have any privileged information. So I am starting on the open source. Open source says that Pakistan has today got a capability to put across 300 to 500 drones in swarm and otherwise in a strike formation. Like Obsindur, like we said, is no guide. But on the night of 7th and 8th May, there were varying number of drones. Some say 300, some say 500. In some podcasts, I also heard 800 drones. Whereas I heard that you already know that China has, whether for a propaganda or whether for uh, other psychological warfare, they are saying that they are building a capability of 1 million drones, 100,000 drones on China border by 2026. Also, I have talked about the Atlas drone and the Chinese swarm drones of 96 to 200 drones can be just amassed in no time, and China's practice of 500 to 1,000 drones. So all these numbers, if you analyze them and you say in a multi-front war and the tri-service war, something like 1,000 to 1,500 drone strikes or drones are likely to impinge upon us on a 24-hour basis. That is the capability which for us need to be carried up. So this war which is going to unfold, while the conventional war, the ground war, the mainframe air defense war stands as a separate threat vertical. I am talking of the autonomous war of the pre-zone conflict, the swarm strikes, the drone strike, the loitering munition, and how it will take on that tactical battle area is something which we need to bother about, and we need to guard against, we need to prepare for this sort of a onslaught. That is what I wanted to say.
Indeed, sir. So it sounds like we are looking at a highly contested and rapidly evolving environment. So given the scale of this challenge, the imperative shifts from understanding the threat to actively countering and outpacing it. So for our final question, sir, how are we shaping up to deal with this multi-layered threat, and what is the strategic way ahead for India?
This is a very complex question and a very diverse one, because when you say preparing against autonomous weapons is to prepare along various verticals. Now, I talked about one vertical, and what the first vertical was the drone swarm which were coming are going to overwhelm, exhaust, and choke our air defenses. What does it mean? It means, and we need to guard against this capability. How do we do that? What is, first of all, this capability of choking, overwhelming means? You know that all air defense weapons, world over, are what they are meant for. They're meant to negate or destroy or detect and delete the enemy's air threat. Enemy's air threat can manifest both in land, air, sea, subsurface, space, simultaneously or individually. Now, to tackle this air threat in different domains, there are air defense weapons which are core competent in the domain. Air defense weapons on land, air defense weapons on sea, aerial warfare air defense weapons in terms of combat aircraft, and the space-based air defense weapons. While all these weapons are in different domains operated by individual service corps competent operators and experiences, there is something which is controlled in the air defense battle at a national level. That national level is the battle management and control system, which in air defense parlance is called the Air Defense Control and Reporting System, or ADCRS. Now, what is this ADCRS? Big acronym. What does it mean? It is the lifeline of the battle. You may have weapons everywhere, but what is the control? The control is detection. The control is of ADCRS is detection of the aerial threat by multiple sensors of various heights, various altitudes, various ranges. Accumulation of all these inputs, cutting out duplication, and generation of the air situation picture. What is the air situation picture? Common picture which is available. Then carrying out identification of this picture as out of this, how many are owned and how many are of enemies. Then classifying and prioritizing which out of these enemy threats it is most prominent, most dangerous based on its immediacy and lethality. Then selecting what weapon system is most optimal to engage it, auto designating the target to that weapon, and controlling the fire of the air defense weapon onto the threat continuously and seamlessly, shifting weapon to weapon. So this is the air defense battle which is being controlled at a national level. This is something where weapon may be diverse everywhere, but no air defense weapon fires unless cleared by its air defense control and reporting chain. In our country, the responsibility of the air defense of the national airspace is that of Air Force. And therefore, the national level air defense control and reporting system has been established by Air Force, which is called the Integrated Air Command and Control System. It is a set of air defense control nodes of communication, connectivity, which runs right from the highest level right down to some place, some up to weapon platform. At some stage, it connects with the air defense control reporting system of Army and Navy. So consider it as one particular chain, which controls the mainframe threat, which identifies what threat, which classifies, which prioritizes. And this, today it is all automated based on AI-driven mechanism for threat identification, prioritization, classification, data transmission, auto-target designation, etc., etc. So now look at this chain. This chain is controlling the mainframe threat. Now I will pitch against this threat the new form of autonomous weapons, hundreds and thousands of drones and swarm drones coming and approaching this. Now, if you let it be controlled by the mainframe air defense weapon system, it's going to get choked. Why? What is the signature of this weapon? They operate in a tactical battle space. Earlier, we used to call it tactical battle area, which was a two-dimensional space for the land forces, length and breadth, where tank-to-tank battle take place, where forward forces engage with each other, where and the forward line of battle is defined, where the battle is actually joined and taking place. But over this 2D space has now come a third dimension, which is the dimension of autonomous weapons, drone swarms, and loitering munition. It is so much integrated, it is so much intimately connected with the ground battle that it is the ground force commander, it is the land commander which has to deal with this immediate threat over my head. If I see a drone 20 meters over my head coming and striking me with a precision weapon, I need to take action immediately. It cannot be left to a big chain of air defense weapons, and so I have to take action immediately. Therefore, to control, to do the same ADCRRS function, air defense control and reporting function, in the tactical battle space against the autonomous weapons, we need to have a separate grid. And you may have read in the open source, such a grid in our scenario is already into action. It is called the suction grid, which is the situational awareness for kinetic, hard and soft skill asset management. Don't go for this acronym. What does it mean? It is a group of controlling sense, controlling communication and network, which controls the sensors, all the sensors in the tactical battle space, which can detect a small RCS or a radar cross-section drones and swarm drones, and connect various weapon systems which can kill them, and does the same function, identification of the um, generation of the aerial situation picture or the air situation picture for unmanned weapons, recognizing them, prioritizing them, allocating the weapons which are supposed to take them on, conducting the warfare, and also providing a data set of drone-based picture to our drone operators in the offensive domain. Also, this particular grid also feeds into our IACCS Akash Tir. Army's Air Defense Control and Reporting System is called Akash Tir. So it feeds onto them. So why there is a separate US grid? So that our mainframe air defense weapon system is not choked, not clogged, not overwhelmed, and also is adequately supplied with drone related, anti-drone related information, because if the drone which is coming at low level in hundreds and thousands will be first identified by the sensors which are located right up front in the tactical battle space, not the long range air defense radars which are deployed in the rear area or in the mid ground. No, it is located there. So our first requirement to deal with the autonomous warfare is to prevent it from choking our mainframe air defense system. And only limiting to open source, I will not say what is the status of our counter US grid, but there is a counter US grid which we are strongly putting it on ground to ensure that our autonomous threat is driven to its neutralization without it overwhelming our air defense control and reporting system, which is to meant to take on the mainframe threat. Also, do not consider it as two different systems, like one in the TBA, counter US, one mainframe. No, airspace is a homogeneous entity. It cannot be divided. It is a part of IACCS itself. It's a part of the mainframe threat itself. But why we are controlling it? To beat the enemy design of overwhelming our air defense, mainframe air defense control and reporting system. Not the two systems are separate. They are plug and play. They are integral. They are totally coherent and seamlessly connected. Only thing is we are taking care of this portion of battle management and control. This is the first requirement. The second requirement is why these drones have become such a nuisance? Because they are so small. The radar cross section. Radar cross section is the degree of visibility of a radar, of a aerial threat to a radar. The smaller the RCS, the more difficult will be for a radar to identify. The RCS of a small drone is 0.01 to 0.03 square meter, whereas for a typical combat aircraft, it is 3 to 5 meters square. Now, the most important challenge in dealing with the autonomous warfare is to create the detection capability. This detection capability is created by electro-optical system. What is electro-optical system? Is a system of detection of low RCS target based on day camera, night camera, laser rangefinder, and fire control computing system. Also, the RF-based detection system. Now, uh, only relating to the open source, our country today has got capability both in electro-optical sensing system, RF-based sensing system, radar sensing system. All this. We have standalone radars called low-level lightweight radar 2, which can capable of detecting the low-level lightweight radar. These are detection system like frequency modulated continuous wave radar. Bell recently announced a radar called Atulya, which is very capable of detecting low range, long range, low RCS threat. Also, Air Force has ordered mountain radars from Bell, which is also capable of low RCS detection. All this is detection. And when you're talking of the kill system, our country is strongly going here, but I will sound a word of caution. While we have a lot of standalone target system, we need to build more, both in scale, quantum, and technology. Because the quantum of threat which I'm talking about, which I just assessed, is much more, is going to be very grave. And therefore, we need to build our system, whether it is EO system, whether it is RF system, whether it is standalone radar systems, we need to build more in scale, quantum, and technology. Now, when it comes to kill system, we initially started with very simple RF-based jamming and laser-based killing. The system DRDO came out with this D4 system, and there's a private sector firm called Zen Technologies which came out there with their anti-drone system called the ZAD system. And basically, there were RF-based jamming and DRDO and the laser-based killing. Now, this laser-based killing is a important aspect of killing the drones. Initially, we started with only 500 meters to 800 meter, 1 kilometer. Then the directed energy weapons, they became phase two, we came up to 10 kilowatt laser up to 2 kilometers. Today we are at 30 kilowatt laser, and the future options are multi kilowatts. I will not go into the classified details, but I am trying to say that we are building this capability to go up to multiple kilometers to kill the anti-drone system. Another capability which we are building, which already there with us, is the high power microwave system. Now we start very simple. DRDO started with the anti-UAV high power microwave system. High power microwave, to understand, is a pulses of very small bandwidth, 20 nanoseconds. This electronic surges, they enter into radar gaps or wires or drones and simply adiabatically burn them or fry them or kill them and disable them. So we started with DRDO based system called the AUHPM system. You know that initially we started with 1 kilometer, 5 kilometer. Today we have reached. Our private sector players, if you see the open source, there's a company called Tonvo Imaging. It is based in Bangalore. It has worked out a system which is of high power microwave up to 5 kilometers to mile. And another kill system which is being developed or already reaching the stage of final testing is the Bhargava Astra system. It has got two-way killing. What two-way killing? One killing is based on unguided micro rockets. Many micro rockets go, they burn or they destroy the area of drone swarms and kill them. Another is precision guided missile, 64 of them. They can be directed against the drone and killed. Sometime back, there was in the open sources and technologies, they said their integrated anti-drone system, which is based on EORF based surveillance and multiple type of kills. What type of kill? One is a kill which is based on soft kill, which is wideband jamming or the GNSS jamming or spoofing, which is feeding wrong data to the corrupted data to the drone and taking it off on a safe access, or hard kill based on kamikaze drones, which are the agile quadcopters, or the remote control weapon system 7.62 and 12.7 millimeter. Also, the air defense guns of L-70 and Zu-23. They are of various configuration. All this is happening. Detection is happening, kill is happening. But what is the future? The future is two important things need to be developed. First of all, in all our anti-drone systems, we need to totally indigenize our chain. What do you mean by indigenizing our chain? Means there should be no place for any of the foreign systems to be there, which could be AI based interface, which could be controlling system, which could be AI algorithm, which could be stealth capability, which could be hardware and software for advanced computing. Everything has to be indigenized. That is the first requirement. Second requirement is to build on scale and to build on technology capability. Today you are 5 kilometers, tomorrow you have to build 10 kilometers. Tomorrow you have to build furthermore. That is the second requirement. So why I say all that? That autonomous threat is today very specific threat. It is going to override the combat uh, operations of tomorrow. The tactical battle area has already been converted to tactical battle space. While you are controlling the ADCNRS through a separate grid, etc., but you need to build both the verticals of detection and kill. And when you talk about kill, it is soft kill, it is a hard kill, it is killed by directed energy weapon, and it is all future options of high power microwave, etc., have to come in. Lately, the government is giving a tremendous amount of push towards this capability. If you see last year on 29th December 2025, the Defense Acquisition Council approved a package of 79,000 crores. Large portion of this was meant for loitering munition, low-level lightweight radar, and drone kill system based on integrated drone detection and integration system. Then lately on October 2025, again 79,000 crore were approved by the DRDO, by the DAC for, for swarm drone kill system called Collaborative Long Range Target Saturation and Destruction System. The government is working and giving you all the support, like this Tonbo system, which I talked about, the Tonby imaging system, the capability which they have built. Under the Aditi program or the ASIM, the development of innovative technologies through IDEX, they are already getting integrated into various platforms, which I will not speak. So what I'm trying to say is that we are making headway both in detection and kill. You only need to build in scale, build in capability, make the chain internal, and thorough build in quantity. That's what I wanted to say.
So thank you for providing such a comprehensive roadmap, and
Thank you.
we greatly appreciate you sharing your time and insight with us. So I hope you enjoyed it too.
Yes, 100%, 200%. I do my humble duty of coming on the podcast and adding my two penny worth of knowledge to tell that what threats we face, where we are, where we need to go in my own humble understanding.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And to
Have a
our
nice day.
listeners, thank you for joining us. We hope this episode offered a new lens to your understanding. Be sure to follow our channel and stay tuned for our next discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.